horrendous. There we go. I'm just outside here at the beginning because I want to show you what I'm moving. Here's my truck. I'm in Salina, Utah, or Salina, however you say it. I got this crusher, weighs 100,000 pounds. This baby is going to Moffett, Colorado. So I got here at 8:45 p.m. I need to take a 10-hour reset, and then at 6:45 a.m. I can take off from Moffett, Colorado. So this thing here is called a booster. This adds like, technically we can add like 30,000 pounds of weight onto this one axle. But without the booster, this can only haul like a 90,000 pound machine. So that put us in a pretty workable spot. So yeah, all together I weigh about, or I went over the scale, is 154,000 pounds, and I was well within my weights on my axles. So cool, we're good to go. I'm gonna jump in here, and if you guys have any questions, I'll take them. So, anyways, yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks. Had Peter Schiff on the show. I'm having Abby Martin on the show on Sunday. Tulsi Gabbard's media organizer actually just texted me today saying that I'm on the roster and they're trying to figure out a date. So that conversation is going to go a little bit differently than I think I thought it was going to go at first, because I was actually going to talk to her about the war on terrorism, but I think that that's a position she held that not too many people were aware of. They thought that she was like Ron Paul on war, which she's obviously not. You can actually watch several videos I put out. One that was like right after she dropped out. I think it's called Tulsi on the Issues, and I was talking about how she didn't have Ron Paul's foreign policy. She has Rand Paul's foreign policy, which is fighting ISIS, just not giving them any weapons, which was still way better than everybody else, but not where we are on it. But obviously we're going to talk about that more because she went on Tucker Carlson and gave a pretty full-throated defense of drone strikes, which shocked a lot of people. Who would you cast to play you in a comedy? Let's see. Probably. Oh, what's his name? Sebastian Stan. Although you said a comedy, I don't know. Comedy? I don't know if he's funny, but I've been told I look like him. So, if he wants to grow a mustache and play me, we'll go with him. Now I'm going to bed. Watch this tomorrow. Felt obligated by the bro code to pop in. Thanks, Jose. Appreciate it. Post Libertarians or Lulberts? You got to ask a little bit more than that. I don't know exactly who's worse, who's better. I think the Post Libertarians. I get along well with Pete, very well. I just did a video with him. I'm actually going to have Andrew from Popular Liberty on the show on the 22nd of October. I was just talking to him today. I'm not too impressed with Vin Armani, or I guess Cyprian's his name now, or Matt Erickson, or Adam Patrick, especially Adam Patrick. He, I don't know what his deal is, but he actually wanted me to come on his show for a while. And I was willing to do it, but I just forgot about it because I had so many things going on, and he didn't message me back. And I think he actually got mad that I didn't go on his show. And he ended up going after me on Twitter saying I was a corny grifter with nothing interesting to say. But I had I had DMs from him telling me how interesting he thought I was and how much he wanted to get me on his show. So I roasted him. So that's the end of that relationship, unless he wants to, if he wants to make a move and wants to I don't know, bury that hatchet or whatever. Like, I don't care, but I'm not gonna patronize him at all or give him any attention other than what I just did right here. But in general, I get along uh, better with the post-libertarians. You know, there's I like Pete. I am gonna get to know Andrew. I don't really know Buck that well, so I don't have anything bad to say about him. And there's yeah, Adam Patrick's the only guy that I've had like really negative experiences with. Um, Vin Armani, or sorry, Cyprian and Matt Erickson. I've listened to them a bit. I don't know. I'm not very interested in what they have to say, but that's fine. They are not interested in what I have to say. But I'll say in general, or not even in general, just obviously the post-libertarians are much smarter, you know, especially like Pete, who I know very well. He reads a ton. You know, that guy's very knowledgeable. He's also funny. He's interesting to talk to. The Fakertarians are just idiots. Like I think John Hudak is the smartest out of all of them, and he's a moron. So I don't know if that was what your question was. Let's see. Oh, what's it like being so handsome? Well, Drew, you should know this. I mean, I think the only thing you have to be jealous of me for is my facial hair. Other than that, I think you've got the looks, man. You're doing good. Let's see. Who is your favorite Tower Power Hour member? Well, obviously Jose Gallison. There's no competition there. That the guy that I really don't like is that Fat Dave guy. He's a weirdo. Just in case you guys can't see, that was Fat Dave who asked the question. Lots of retracted messages here. Andrew's awesome. Cool. Looking forward to having him on. Fat Dave, sex how many times a week? Well, it depends on whether I'm in, a more urban area, because then the lot lizards are more plentiful. Where I am right now out in the sticks, it's kind of hard. So, I guess we could look at average. Sometimes, I have to lock the doors to keep them out. Other times it's tough. Tonight's a tough night. That's why I'm hanging out with you guys instead. Let's see. Do you think there's a path forward for libertarian left-right cohesion? Um, so I don't know. I am actually one of the guys who would say like the not left or right, but free or whatever. I know that's super corny, but I actually do believe that. Like I am definitely more of a right wing person, both socially, the way I live, and also fiscally. I really think the problem is centralization, control, government. Like I really think that's what all the problems boil down to. I think that people could live different ways if we weren't trying to force our ideas on each other, if we weren't trying to all live under the same state, under the same society, under the same government. I think decentralization is key. I think if you have decentralization, then the right and the left are going to get along better. That's really the only way I see out of this. Let's see. What happened to that mangled Toyota? It got totaled. I got 11 grand for that baby. So for all of you who are calling that thing a piece of shit, useless, whatever, I got 11 grand for a 27-year-old truck with 330,000 miles on it. So fuck you. That truck was amazing. Um, but I bought a 1991 4Runner. So it's an upgrade for me. It's 3 years older, but it has air conditioning, power windows, so I don't have to risk getting into a car accident if I want to roll the passenger window down going down the highway. Uh, let's see. I get along better with tankies than lowbirds. Yeah, I can understand. I mean, they're not really that different. They're um, I don't know. Lowbirds are just stupid. Most of them have never read a book. They don't know. They've never held a job. They don't do anything. Fuck them. Like they're just completely useless. Fire Pixie, we are Reed's mustache. That's right. What is your favorite type of muffin? I like blueberry muffins. We'll go with that. Hey, my question wasn't retracted. Nice. Do you have a mustache comb, and when are you selling it on OnlyFans? I do not have a mustache comb. I I should probably get on that. That's a great idea. I might actually be able to make some money on that. That's how ridiculous this world is. Like, I should not be nearly as popular as I am. Neither should my mustache, but that's the world we live in. Let's see. Clean your camera. Sorry, it's my phone, so it is the way it is. How much control does Christianity have over U.S. influence compared to those that claim Christianity on behalf, sorry, to those who claim Christianity on behalf of political Zionism and Satanism? Let me read that again. How much control does Christianity have over U.S. influence compared to those that claim Christianity on behalf of political Zionism? Okay, so I think I got you. So I would say that like Mike Pompeo, George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, like any of these Zionist people, I don't think that they're sincere Christians. I don't think they really believe that they're doing the Lord's work. I don't even know if they actually believe in God. I think a lot of them are atheists who are just, and I would say the same about some ISIS leaders. Like, I doubt that they actually really believe in what they're talking about. I think that a lot of the followers do. Like, I think a lot of right-wing evangelicals in America really do believe this stuff, just like a lot of people in the Middle East really believe in Islam. But I think that they kind of use that as a controlling vice. So I don't know. Like, it's kind of a mix. So I think the people who are controlling are not sincere, but they're taking advantage of people who do believe, if that makes sense. So it's sort of a mix of both. Mosh says, "What is your favorite podcast outside of the liberty politics space?" Um, Man, so I gotta admit, like, I haven't listened to one in a while. I used to listen to them all the time. But politics is just taking everything up. Man, outside of politics. I mean, I don't even know what is outside of politics anymore. Um, Man, I mean, I used to listen to Jordan Peterson a lot, like in 2018, 2017. It was less political back then. Um, and I was kind of into like him and Sam Harris and Dave Rubin and um, who else? I don't know. I was kind of listening to like the intellectual dark web stuff in like 2017, 2018, and I didn't agree with everything they said, obviously, and I thought that some of them were actually kind of uninteresting, but uh, it was kind of what was big and what was happening at the time, so that's what I was listening to a lot. But even that was political. Like, I can't really think of any podcast to listen to that's not political at all. I'm trying to. I mean, man, there's got to be something, but it's been a while, so I can't even really answer that question off the top of my head. Any driving gigs for frostbacks from Soviet Kanukistan? Uh, Sorry, I don't have anything for you, man. Uh, Most based LP Twitter besides LP Kentucky. I'm assuming that's a question. That would be LP Connecticut, or if you want a Mises Caucus one, then Massachusetts Mises Caucus. They're amazing. Those guys are so savage. Masha, I don't know if you run that account, but if you do, you're savage. I'm not sure who's behind that. It's amazing. Also, New Hampshire Libertarian Party. That one's great. And New Hampshire Mises Caucus. New Hampshire and Massachusetts and Connecticut. So I guess the New England guys, man, they're vicious. I don't know if they've all got the same guy running their accounts, but they know what's up. Let's see. Do you consider atheism an important part of your identity or just a self-description? I mean, it certainly influences the way I think a little bit, but I was not an atheist 5 or 6 years ago. It's completely possible that I won't be one 5 or 6 years from now. Um, so I think it's weird to make it part of your identity. Like, I don't really think it's part of my identity. I think it's just the way I think. The reason I talk about it to the extent that I do, which is not much actually, if you look at my videos, I've done 100 56 episodes and then tons of live streams, and I think like 4 of them have been on religion. And then same with Twitter, like most of the stuff I talk about is politics, not religion. But the reason I talk about it to the point I do is because I don't think libertarianism has an atheist problem. I think atheists have a statist problem in general, including the ones that come into the Libertarian Party. Like, I think that a lot of atheists are not really atheists. They still believe in some sort of God, and the state becomes their God. And I think that's so antithetical to the idea of atheism, because to me, atheism is the idea that there is no overlord controlling everything, which seems completely in line with libertarianism. And especially if you're an atheist, and I don't like the church as an institution. There are lots of churches that I like individually. The church in general as an institution, I'm not a fan of, but there are a lot of atheists who just straight up hate the church because it's telling you how to live and it's taking your money or whatever. But they're completely fine with the government doing that, and that's never made any sense to me. So I try to give atheists a place in the liberty movement, and I try to scream at atheists that they make no sense when they've just replaced God with the state, with another God, with one who doesn't have any vague promises that I can understand believing in. Because if you believe the state is benevolent, you're an idiot. Like, there's no reason to. At least with God, there's unanswered questions or whatever. But the state, like, if if you think they're helping you, you're an idiot. Let's see. Do you actually like Dave Rubin? Uh, no, not really. I mean, I met him at Freedom Fest. I might have him on the podcast. I thought he was more interesting in 2017. I thought he was kind of interesting then because he was going through transition. So it was interesting some of the questions he was asking and some of the guests he was having on. But now he's just kind of like a generic, like moderate Republican. I just don't find him that interesting anymore. Uh Preacher Reed. Damn. Hey, thanks. Favorite accent. I don't know if you guys have been to like down east Maine. But man, you want to talk about a strong, thick New England accent. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go out on the water and catch some halibut. Yeah, we'll be leaving shortly. I mean, it's if you're not from New England, it's very hard to understand. But I've my cousin's from Arizona, and he went up there with me once, and I was acting like a translator because I obviously speak English normally, but I can understand. I just call it speaking moose. It just like it's like a foreign language. It's very hard to understand. Let's see. Do you believe these atheists and political Zionists deliberately smear Christianity, and if so, why would they actually want to? Um, I don't think. I mean, I just think they're hijacking Christianity because it's the most prevalent religion in the United States. So I don't think they have anything against Christianity. I think it's just, it's just the vehicle they use. If we were a Jewish nation, then I think they'd obviously use Judaism for Zionist purposes. But Christianity works, and that's what's available. Are you coming to Childerberg 2022? I would love to. I had Nick Ashley on the show a few months ago, and we talked about Childerberg. I'd love to make it there. Honestly, I'd love to quit my job and just like drive around the country going to all these liberty events and doing podcasts. That'd be cool. But that's not happening anytime soon, but I would like to make it there hopefully. Uh I suggest things for Massachusetts Mises Caucus. I can't be trusted with the keys. Well, Masha, whoever is running that account, tell them they're doing a great job. Where is America 5 years from now? Probably pretty similar. I am a belie I am bearish on the dollar. Like, I don't know how much longer the dollar is going to be the world reserve currency, and I don't pretend to know when it won't be, but think that could happen in the next 5 years. If that does, then things are going to be drastically different. If it doesn't, then I think things are going to be mostly the same. So it kind of depends on the dollar. But honestly, like a lot of other countries aren't doing well either, which makes things better for the dollar. Like China is fucked. I mean, their GDP is projected to pass us by 2028, but their infrastructure is falling apart. So I don't know. Like it really just it really depends. I don't know. I assume in 5 years things are going to be similar to now, just worse, like a little bit worse. But I don't know. Um, I really don't, because if you asked me 5 years ago where I thought we'd be right now, I never would guess we'd be in this current state. But also, like, I don't know. I mean, things are a lot better, at least in my life right now. Or I shouldn't even say that because I wasn't doing bad a year ago either. But I know a lot of people who are doing better right now than they were a year ago. I think that people have had enough of lockdowns and enough of mandates, and it seems like they're finally starting to make some resistance. And I know we're always posting videos of Australia and France and everything and saying, why aren't we doing this? Well, the reason we're not doing that is because we haven't locked the whole country down and put everyone on house arrest and mandated federal vaccine passports. Now, could that happen here? Yes, absolutely. And if it does, then I think we should do the same thing they're doing. But we're not in that situation. Things are a little bit different here. So I don't know. I don't really know what is going to happen in 5 years. We could all be in camps, or things could be pretty much the same. So there's a completely non answer to your question. I'm still trying to get my head around you libertarians, but the more I listen to you, the more confused I am. Lots of snarkiness and fighting, just trying to get down the basic principles. Well, Fire Pixie, you're well on your way if you're confused. That's the first step to being a libertarian. I would just ignore the bullshit mostly. People are idiots. Basic principles are uh, don't hurt people and don't take their stuff. You own yourself and you own your property. That's pretty much it. Like, if you don't own something, you don't have a right to it. If you do own something, it's your right to do what you want with it, and no one can take it from you. That's basically everything works out from there. And don't aggress against people unless you've been aggressed upon first, or they're threatening you with aggression. So basically, self-defense. Don't purposely go around hurting others. Let's see. Considering that you support Tulsi Gabbard for being somewhat libertarian, what do you think of the new paleocon movement in the GOP? They seem to be a lot better on foreign policy and the drug war. So I did support Tulsi in 2019, but things were a bit different in 2019 than they are now. Uh, she really fucked up on the COVID stuff, I think. So I don't know if I would have, man, if the COVID stuff had happened in 2019, I man, I don't think I would have been able to support her because she really fucked up on a lot of that stuff. Um, and she's been really good on, like the domestic war on terror that's trying to start. Like she's been really against that. She called John Brennan a domestic terrorist back in February, which was amazing. And she was the only one on a mainstream platform who was calling out the Democrats for trying to pass that bullshit. She still talks about it a little bit. That's cool. Um, she's not shining as well on war right now because in 2019 the big worry was we were going to go to war with Iran. The genocide in Yemen was ramped up to a 10 by Trump, so she was railing against that stuff, made her look really good. But then when we pulled out of Afghanistan, now she's saying we need to stay monitoring, and we need to do uh, targeted drone strikes, things like that. So I don't know, like she's not I wouldn't say that I support her right now. I don't think that's fair. Like in 2019, I did because she was the best option. 2019, early 2020. In general, I don't know. I'm kind of split on her these days. Like some days she says something really good, and then other days she says something really scary. But to answer your question about the PaleoCon movement, um, I think that's great on a local level, and it's more effective in certain places. If you want to run in the Republican Party, and you want to lower taxes, you want to lower regulations, you want to be against COVID mandates, I think that's great. Like, I really don't have anything against that. I think the national GOP is a dumpster fire and is the biggest threat to liberty that we have because they just run cover for the Democrats. There's only one good Republican in the House, as far as I'm concerned. That's Thomas Massey. And then there's only two in the Senate, Rand Paul and Mike Lee. Everyone else is fucking horrible. They might have a couple good qualities here and there, but they just suck. They're terrible. So if the I this might surprise people, but I agree with Tho Bishop more than Eric Brakey. Like, I agree with the localism idea more than like trying to take over the entire Republican Party. And I know Eric Brakey also wants to take over locally, but he really wants to like reform the GOP. I think that's a waste of time. Uh, that's just my thoughts. So if you have like a mayor or a governor or a councilman or a representative who's a Republican, who's great, sure, vote for him. I think Congress is lost, and I think the White House is lost. So I'm not interested in the GOP on a national scale. Um, and I mean, like, if Rand Paul somehow became the nominee and it was against Kamala Harris, like, yeah, I'd vote for him. But he would have to sell his soul so much more than he already has. And then once he got in there, I don't know what I would trust him to do. So, like, once you get to that point, it just doesn't matter. And Congress is just a fucking joke. So, I don't know. Like, I think the only hope is local now. And if you want to do that through the Libertarian Party, I think that's cool. If you want to do it through the Republican Party, I think that's cool. If you can do it through the Democrat Party somehow, that's cool too. So I don't really care. They're all vehicles. Whatever whatever liberty you can achieve through that vehicle is what matters. Man, let's see. Wow, you guys have asked a lot of questions. Okay. I was in Utah yesterday and saw a giant flatbed driver and wondered if you were nearby. I wasn't working yesterday, so don't know. Jesus loves you, brother. Peace and liberty. Thank you. They're implementing radical tyranny. 5 years. China GDP. LMAO will be slaves. All right. You can't miss his truck. It has its own mustache. There you go. Let's see. When the dollar collapses, I think within the next decade, what is more likely to replace it, in your opinion? Bitcoin, gold, or some other fiat garbage? Uh, I don't necessarily think we've learned the lesson, and I think it'll just be another fiat currency. I don't think it'll be Bitcoin, and I had Peter Schiff on a few weeks ago, and he thinks it's going to be gold. I mean, I understand his reasoning, but I just don't think the world is that smart or that they'd want to do that. So I think it'll just be another fiat currency. Maybe I don't know which one. Let's see. Religion and political worship has caused more people to kick the bucket than anything else. I think, yeah, when religion and state are mixed is when they're bad, or is when religion is bad. But even though I'm an atheist, I don't think religion is as bad as statism. I think it's when it becomes statism that it's a problem. So your police aren't beating people for not wearing a mask. Correct, at least in Utah. They're probably doing that in California and New York. But have you even heard in New York, the police are helping this guy pass out pamphlets to put on people's windows that say they're not going to discriminate against unvaccinated people. So I don't know, like, kind of depends. Do you box? Fair question. No, I know I do look like a 1940s boxer with a mustache, but I don't box. Hey bro, cool news on Tulsi. Hey Michael, how you doing? Thanks for watching. That's my good buddy Michael Gorecki. He's got a podcast that he started a couple months ago. It's called I'm Just a Truck Driver. He was on episode 1 of The Naturalist Capitalist with me back in May of 2020. So go check him out. I'd rather be dead than in a camp if that's where they want to push it. Colorado, of course, but that does not mean they will get what they want. Me too, buddy. No camps. Camps bad. Do you think that there is hope for Sam Harris in regard to his Trump derangement syndrome? Oh man. So I did respect Sam Harris, even though I disagreed with him on stuff, because he was like one of these guys that talked about dealing in logic instead of emotion. And he really had like logical ways that he showed up at all of his positions. And then in my mind, he just threw it all out the window when Trump came through because he just started acting on emotion. He threw logic away. So he just kind of disproved his entire point. I lost most of the respect I had for him. I still think like some of his approaches are interesting and are well thought out, but he lost me a lot. I mean, so many people I've lost respect for over the last year and a half, and he's one of them. So I don't really know. I think he shot himself in the foot on that one big time. Let's see. Sorry. All of us do. Have you seen Tulsi's recent appearance on Tucker? Dave Smith was pretty worked up over it on his show. Yeah, I did see it. I was talking about that earlier in this stream. Uh, as I said earlier, she was not against the war on terrorism, never has been. She was against arming terrorists. She was against overthrowing dictators. So she was 2/3 of the way there, which was better than everybody else in 2020, but still not good enough. Let's see. Massey and Paul are the only ones worth a crap. I agree. I think Mike Lee is good too. Mike Lee is from Utah, actually, is one of my senators. Mitt Romney is fucking useless, but I do like Mike Lee. I think he's good. I actually got to meet him at Freedom Fest. Let's see. Does everyone in this room like? Okay, that's not a question for me. Let's see. Where we got a question. Masha says, I felt sad when Sam's brain broke a ton. I appreciate him very much overall. I agree. I mean, I still, I don't know. Like, I still listen to him sometimes. I don't. So here's the thing. Like, just because you lose a lot of respect for someone doesn't mean you should throw the baby out with the bathwater and just not listen to anything they ever have to say anymore. So I actually have this position with the Bible. Like, I don't believe the Bible is infallible, but I still think there's a lot of valuable stuff in there. And I think it's valuable to listen to Christian apologists and philosophers. I think that you can find wisdom in just about everything, but especially books that have been around thousands of years. But the same way with people, like I don't, I mean, I would not vote for Tulsi for president again at this point, but like she still has a lot of valuable stuff to say. People like Jimmy Dore has valuable stuff to say. You know, Abby Martin, having her on the show on Sunday, she's got a lot of valuable stuff to say. And then like conservatives like Matt Gaetz, even though he's a clown, like he might have something interesting to say. Even like someone like Candace Owens, you never know. Like you really just don't. Like anyone can make a good point. Like, I actually saw Candace Owens talking about how the Patriot Act uh basically set the country up for disaster, which is hilarious seeing her finally say that. But hey, she said it. Cool. So whatever. Let's see. Yo, Justin, how's it going? Except Jordan Peterson, he's a hack. Yeah, so Jordan Peterson posted something on Twitter today about how it's anti-Semitic to oppose funding Israel's Iron Dome. So if you if you don't want to give $1 billion to a country that has nukes and has missiles that they send in to Palestinian settlements and ethnically cleanses them, and if the kids throw rocks at tanks, they shoot their nut sacks off, and if you don't want to give that country $1 billion towards defending itself, from potato cannons, basically, that from a people that they've been murdering and ethnically cleansing for decades, then you're anti-Semitic. So, yeah, good going, Jordan Peterson. But like I said, anyone can make a good point occasionally. So, Y'all better start getting close to Christ, if for no other reason than to try and get a religious exemption from these mandates. Dude, I've thought about that. I've thought about becoming a minister just for tax exemption. Like, why not? Somebody I know in the main Libertarian Party has done that. Candace Owens on Joe Rogan was more sympathetic than I thought possible from her. Well, as Justin O'Donnell knows, we saw Joe Biden saying things like a month ago that we were practically standing and cheering for. Like, you never know. Like, I didn't think that was possible for me to agree with Joe Biden on something, but when he said, "Fuck you, we're leaving, we're getting out of Afghanistan, goodbye," like, I mean, there were other things in that he fucked up, but at that point I was like, "Yeah, fuck, we need to go," and everyone was trying to stay, and he was like, "Nope." So you never know. Someone fucking useless can say something good, and when they do, why not? If you're looking for a non-libertarian current event podcast, check out Ignore the Rant. They know they're not good, but it's funny at times. All right, I'll look into that. I like people who know they're not good. That's an important quality to have, to know you're not as good as you want to think you are. Let's see. The guy who went on for years about totalitarianism has been promoting the vax. Not sure who you're referencing there, but yeah, there are a lot of people who do that. Are you talking about Jimmy Dore? I don't know. Is he promoting the vax? I don't know. I thought he got sick from taking it. I don't know what you're talking about there. I'm very religious. When you want to stick with me, when you want to stick me with unwanted medication. Yeah, that's right. I had Dr. Kevin Smith on my show tonight, and he went on a 5-minute rant just belittling Canadians because a Canadians stand for universal health care in chat. There you go. My band started our own religion pre-pandemic as a joke called the Wormans. No real tenants yet, but I don't know what is required to be a legit exemption. Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll start with whatever we can. Oh man, boy, we're already coming up on 40 minutes of this useless rant of me talking. Reed is my libertarian Sherpa, whether he likes it or not. Also, there's another great website, ANC Report. Pretty cool. Yeah, go check out our good friend of the show, Ryan Dawson. He's pretty throttled. It's hard for him to get publicity because every platform he's been on, he's been removed from pretty much, except Odyssey. Go check out Odyssey. I'm on Odyssey too. Let's see what we got here. What's your favorite favorite flavor of ice cream? I'm gonna have to go with black raspberry. uh, Door is against it now after taking it and having side effects. I don't follow him, but I feel for him. Uh, yeah, Door, like, I don't know, like, it's just like there's just this huge disconnect with him. Like, he's really anti-authoritarian in some senses, but then he's super authoritarian in others. It's just like hard to take him seriously. Uh, Bruh, I don't know if you like. I don't know what that means. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. I don't know if you like black raspberry as well, but that's my jam. Please follow the mustache, not the man. Joking. Man. All right, guys. Well, I am Doors a socialist, bruh. Yeah, I know. I don't understand socialists because a lot of them are really good on a lot of things and then they just are terrible on other stuff. Tips for keeping my mustache as primo as yours. Um, well, I honestly only trim it like once a month, so it gets pretty bushy. Once it starts, like, I don't really like it when I'm starting to get the walrus look, so I trim it to like right at the seam of my lip here on both sides. Don't shave it. Don't worry, I won't shave it, but I am going to grow a beard out in the winter again. That's what I always do, just for warmth. Good night, my rootless cosmopolitans. Good night, Masha. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. All right, well, that's a good note to close on, you fellow rootless cosmopolitans. I'm gonna shut her down. I'm gonna get some sleep, get some rest for the road tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I think I'm gonna have Dak Rouleau on Thursday night. Tomorrow night I'm going on NAP time. I don't even know what it is. It's just a show. Some guy on Twitter asked me to come on. Um, and then Saturday, Jeff on the right. That's what his name is on Twitter. He's going to be on my show. And then Sunday, Abby Martin. So that's going to be really cool. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later. As always, take care of each other. Take care of yourselves.